A pivotal hearing wrapped up tonight that could decide whether Karmelo Anthony gets a new trial. A judge could decide as soon as this weekend whether to grant Anthony's request after 2 days of testimony, focusing on whether Anthony got a fair shake. Fox 4's Amelia Jones is live with the latest. Amelia.
Steve, all the testimony and evidence is now in the hands of the judge. Today in court, we learned more on what evidence the state had regarding Karmelo Anthony's past, including apparent threats of violence towards his girlfriend and others. But today, more so featured a battle of the attorneys between prosecutor Bill Worski and defense attorney Russell Wilson. Friday afternoon, supporters of Karmelo Anthony gave one last chant on the steps of the Collin County Courthouse, awaiting a decision by a visiting judge as to whether Anthony will or will not get a new trial. The new legal team for the 19-year-old convicted killer argues the first trial violated his constitutional rights. Jeremy Rosenthal is a defense attorney not involved in this case and sat in as a court observer.
If you had talked to me after the first trial and you had asked me if were there any appellate issues that I saw, I would have told you not really. Now watching this and seeing sort of what we've learned, what we learned is that the truth is a lot more complicated and a lot uglier. And that's just kind of how life is a lot of times.
A gentleman's agreement between the prosecution and the trial defense attorneys was disputed throughout the two-day hearing. The agreement included leaving out damaging character evidence about both Anthony and the victim, 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, and sticking to what happened, quote, under the tent, meaning the day of the track meet when Anthony fatally stabbed Metcalf. On Thursday, the defense shared snippets of evidence related to Metcalf's suggested aggressive and racist behavior. Friday, the state revealed more of the damaging evidence it had on Anthony, including previous school records suggesting behavior issues and text messages about knives, physical fighting, and suggested threats of violence towards his girlfriend and others. Evidence the state could have brought up during the trial, but did not because of the agreement.
There's a lot of damaging stuff that we learned today about Karmelo Anthony, and those are all things that are not going to solve themselves if there's a second trial. A second trial would be certainly just as difficult as a first trial would be.
When prosecutor Bill Worski was cross-examined by defense attorney Russell Wilson on the witness stand, things got heated and tense at times, the two occasionally going around in circles on the same questions. Rosenthal thought closing arguments on both sides were strong, with a central theme being control in terms of security, the agreement, and public access.
But Mr. Wilson sort of argued the opposite. If everybody can see what we're doing here and everybody can see how all these safeguards really work, we're going to have more faith in our institutions. So I think that's really, to me, that's the major overarching theme here, is do we trust the public or don't we?
The judge was given a mountain of paperwork to review before issuing his ruling. Rosenthal pointed out that no matter what the decision is, there is likely to be another appeal from either the state or defense. Steve?
Okay, that's Emily Jones in McKinney at the Collin County Courthouse, outside the Collin County Courthouse. Amelia, thanks. To follow more of today's developments and to get updates on tomorrow's proceedings, scan the QR code on your screen. You can also go to Fox Local. It's free in your app store. Or go to the website, fox4news.com.